So we have defined congruences and studied properties of congruences. Now we shall solve some problems on congruences. So this is the recommended book, Elementary Number Theory by David M. Burton, and we shall consider the problems at 4.2. So first we shall consider this problem as if A congruent to B modulo n So this is the first example we are considering as if A is congruent to B modulo n, we have to prove that GCD of A n is equal to GCD of B and n. Now we shall start with the congruence relation. A is congruent to B modulo n. By definition of congruence, this implies n divides the difference of A and B, A minus B. And by definition of divisibility, we have A minus B is multiple of n. So therefore we can write this implies A minus B is equal to n into some number x or some x or some integer x. And again from this we may express A is equal to B plus nx or nx plus B, and we refer this as 1. Now we want to show GCD of B and n is equal to GCD of A and n, and therefore we consider this one B and n, GCD of B and n, because we have expressed here as combination of B and n, and suppose GCD of B and n is equal to D. Now let GCD of B and n is equal to D. So by definition of GCD, D is common divisor and greatest common divisor of B and n. D divides B and D divides n. And again we know that the property of divisibility, if D divides B, D divides n, D divides the combination of B and n. And this combination of B and n we shall consider as nx plus B. So this implies D divides nx, B or B plus nx. Property of divisibility, we have proved this property earlier in the first chapter. And D divides B plus nx means D divides A. So this implies D divides A. So this is by 1. And now what this says as D is now common divisor of B, n and A, and we shall consider these two. D is common divisor of A and n. So these two relation we shall consider. Therefore D is a common divisor of A and n. Now what we want to prove is D is the greatest common divisor of A and n. And by the definition of greatest common divisor, if you consider any other common divisor, then that common divisor must be less than or equal to greatest common divisor. So for that purpose we shall suppose let C be any other common divisor of A and n. And we shall suppose this as second statement and this as third statement. What we have to prove is common divisor must be less than or equal to D, and therefore D will be greatest. And now C is common divisor of A and N, so this implies C divides A and C divides N. And again we shall use 1. And from here now we shall consider the combination of A and N, and so that it will be B. So if you consider A minus Nx, that is B, and from this implies C divides A minus Nx, combination of A and N, linear combination of A and N. If C a number divides first number, the same number divides second, then the number divides the combination of first and second. And this implies C divides what is A minus Nx, again from 1, that is B, by 1. And now see what we have the relation for C. C divides N and C divides B. So therefore C is C divides N and C divides B. We consider these two. And why N and B we have considered? Because we have assumed here the GCD of B and N is D, and therefore C is a common divisor. C is a common divisor of N and B. But the common divisor of N and B is D. The greatest common divisor, GCD of N and B, is D, and therefore we must have C is less than or equal to D, greatest common divisor. Common divisor is less than or equal to greatest common divisor, and so C is less than or equal to D. Now again refer these second statement and third. What is D? D is common divisor of A and N, and C is any other common divisor of A and N. And what is the relation between C and D? C is less than or equal to D, and therefore D is the greatest common divisor of A and N. So by 2 and 3, and definition of GCD, we have the GCD of A and N is also equal to D, and this proves the result. So GCD of B and N is D, GCD of A and N is equal to D, and therefore GCD of AN is equal to GCD of B comma N, and this completes the first problem, solution of first problem. Now we shall consider the next one. The second problem is find the remainders. So this is our next problem. Find remainders when 2 to the power 50 and 41 to the power 65 are divided by 7. Now we shall first consider 2 raised to 50. And for considering 2 raised to 50, we have to find the remainder when it is divided by 7. Now which is the power of 2 close to 7? So we know the powers of 2 are 2, 4, then 8, and 8 is close to 7. So 8 is third power of 2. So therefore we shall start with that. We have 2 to the power 3 is 8, and that is congruent to 1 modulo 7. But we want 2 to the power 50. Now 50 is close to which multiple of 3? That we have to consider. and if you multiply this 3 by 16 we get 48. So therefore we raise both sides power by 16, that is 2 cube raised to 16 is congruent to 1 raised to 16 modulo 7. So this is the result of theorem second. By theorem 2 it is a sixth result. You may see A is congruent to B, then A raised to K is congruent to B raised to K under the same modulo, and therefore we can raise the power to 16. Modulo remains the same, and thus this implies 2 to the power 48 is congruent to 1. 1 to the power 16 is again 1, modulo 7. Now we want the power as 50, so therefore we consider also 2 square, and this is congruent. We consider the number itself. 2 square is 4, 4 is congruent to 4 under any modulo, so therefore it is congruent to modulo 7. And now we multiply these congruences side by side. So that is, this implies 2 raised to 2 raised to 40 is congruent to 1 into 4 mod 7. Again this is theorem second we have proved, and thus A is congruent to B and C is congruent to D under same modulo, then A into C is congruent to B into D. That is the result, and this gives 2 to the power 50 is congruent to 4 mod 7, and this shows that this 2 raised to 50 when divided by 7 gives remainder 4. So by definition of congruence, so 7 is the remainder here obtained when 2 raised to 50 is divided by 7. So therefore when 2 to the power 50 is divided by 7, the remainder is 4. Likewise, we can consider this number 41 to the power 65, and further next we may consider as here we shall consider 41 itself, 41, and it is modulo which number under mod 7. This is congruent to which number under mod 7, and we may see we can consider here 41 and congruent to minus 1, because 7 divides the difference of these two, which is 42. 41 minus 1 is 42, and therefore we consider minus 1. And again now we raise both sides power to 65, and therefore 41 to the power 65 is congruent to minus 1 to the power 65 under the same mod 7. This is the same result here we have mentioned, theorem second, result 6. And thus this, but minus 1 raised to 65 is odd power of minus 1 is minus 1 mod 7. But we can't say the remainder is minus 1. The remainder must always be positive. And but minus 1 is congruent to which positive number under modulo 7, that we shall consider. Also minus 1 congruent to which number under mod 7. Now we can see this is congruent to 6, because 7 divides minus 1 minus 6, that is minus 7, positive number. And now this is congruent to minus 1 congruent to 6 means 41 raised to 65 is congruent to 6, transitive property. A is congruent to B and B is congruent to C means A is congruent to C. So this implies 41 to the power 65 is congruent to 6 modulo 7, and this implies further 6 is the remainder when 41 raised to 65 is divided by 7. Therefore So we have to find the remainder, and the remainder is 6. 6 is the remainder. When this number is divided by 7. And this completes the solution. Now we shall consider the next third example. See, this is the next problem. What is the remainder? When the following sum and the sum given is this one. What is the sum when this, what is the remainder when this sum is divided by 4? So this is the problem. Now we shall consider solution. The power of, in this sum, the power of each number, numbers are from 1 to 100 and the power is taken as 5 of each integer and then they are added. So from 1 to 100, we can consider the numbers in two parts, even and odd. And if you consider even integer, then every even integer can be written in the form 2k, multiple of 2. And if you consider the number as 2k, we shall see what is the fifth power of that number. So an even integer is of the form 2k. And therefore 2k to the power 5 is equal to 1 to 100. There are exactly 50 numbers are even and remaining 50 are odd. So we are considering even number is in the form, and then fifth power of this will be 2 to the power 5 is 32 into k raised to 5. And clearly this is congruent to which number under modulo 4? You see, 32 is divisible by 4. So 4 divides this number always, and therefore this is congruent to 0. And thus this gives that every even integer's fifth power is congruent to 0 in this sum. And thus the half numbers here becomes congruent to 0 in this sum. And therefore we have this sum now becomes like, or it reduces. Now this is congruent. Odd integers will remain the same, and therefore 1 to the power 5 plus 3 to the power 5, or we may write 2 to the power 5 becomes 0 plus 3 to the power 5. Next even it is, that is 0, and plus so on, plus this is odd, so it remains as it is, and this is even, last 100 is even, so therefore it is congruent to 0. And modulo 4, this is mod 4, or that means only the odd integers remains. And last will be 99 to the power 5 modulo 4. Now what about this? We shall refer this as 1. And what about the odd integers? Now we shall consider the case of odd integer. So every integer when divided by 4 is of the form because the modulo 4 we have to consider when divided by 4 is one of the form, or we may write like this, is of the form 4k or 4k plus 1 or 4k plus 2 or 4k plus 3. So this is simple. When we divide by 4, the possible remainders are 0, 1, 2 and 3, 4 remainders, and thus 4k, 4k plus 1, 4k plus 2 or 4k plus 3. And the case of even we have considered earlier here. Now what is remaining is odd. Now you see 4k and 4k plus 2 are even. So we shall delete this and consider the odd. Therefore the odd integers are, or we may write every odd integer has only two form, has the form 4k plus 1, these are to be deleted, and 4k plus 1 or 4k plus 3. Now these odd integers 4k plus 1 is congruent to which number under modulo 4, that we shall consider, and it is easy to verify. It is congruent to 1 itself, because the difference of this is 4k, 4 divides 4k. And what about 4k plus 3? We shall consider this is congruent to say, instead of, we can write it congruent to 3, but we shall consider the smaller number, and therefore we can write it is congruent to -1 modulo 4. Verify. This difference is 4k plus 4, and 4 divides 4k plus 1. So thus these are congruent. Now you see these are odd integers, and these odd integers are of the form 4k plus 1 or 4k plus 3. Now 1 is the integer which is of the form 4k plus 1, where k is 0, and therefore 1 raised to 5 is congruent to 1. Now what about this 3? This is of the form 4k plus 3, and therefore where k is 0, and therefore this is congruent to -1. So 5 is again congruent to you see the first, that is 1. So alternately each number becomes congruent to 1 or -1, or we can raise the power. Therefore 4k plus 1 to the power 5 is congruent to 1 to the power 5, or which is same as 1 mod 4 under modulo 4. And this 4k plus 3 to the power 5 is congruent to -1 to the power 5, and which is -1 under modulo 4. Now we use these two results here in 1, or for odd integers, fifth power of odd integer. So fifth power of every odd integer is either equal to 1 or congruent to 1 or congruent to -1, and therefore we have the original sum is this one, or here it is, and this is congruent to 1 to the power 5, 3 to the power 5, etc., 5 to the power 5, and last will be 99 to the power 5 modulo 4. And again this is congruent to, now 1 to the power 5 is congruent to 1 itself, but 3 to the power 5 is congruent to -1. It is of second type, this type of number. And again 5 to the power 5 is congruent to 1, first type. 4k plus 1, k is 1, it is 5, and thus so this is alternately +1 and -1. And we have last is, you see the last one 99. So 99 is congruent to this type -1. It is of the form 4k plus 3. When divided by 4, it gives the remainder say -1, because 99, see 99 is congruent to -1 under mod 4, because their difference is 100, 4 divides 100, and the last one is -. And under modulo 4. So therefore, now this is the sum. There are exactly the numbers 50% of this are plus 1 and 50% of this are minus 1. So these are total 50 numbers, 25 are plus 1 congruent and remaining 25 are congruent to minus 1, and therefore this sum becomes 0 under congruence mod 4. And thus finally what we have is, when this sum is divided by 4, the remainder is 0. So thus the remainder is 0 when the given sum is divided by 4, and this completes the solution of the problem. So thus we have solved a few problems. Now the remaining problem we shall consider as the next problem, third problem we shall now consider, or the remaining problem we shall consider next lecture. Thank you.